And up, football fans, back at it with another podcast. Hope you guys are enjoying these. Started one last week. Really like doing these, so I may make this a daily thing if you guys do enjoy the content. So let me know in the comments below. This is going to be more of a broad NFL podcast as I go around some of the headlines from the league. Of course, my last one I did a Pretenders and Contenders segment where, where I talked about all the 3-0 teams in the league, so be sure to check that out. But in this one, we're going to talk about some of the headlines from around the NFL today. May make this a daily thing. And we'll start with Baker Mayfield. And let me say something about Baker Mayfield. This guy is a sensitive little bitch. That's what he is. That's what he's always been at Oklahoma. That was his MO when he came into the league. And, I like some of it, right? Because he's brash. He tells you what he's on his mind. He's not politically correct. I think that is the draw to Baker Mayfield. I think that's what people like about him. They say he's a leader. Teammates will run through walls for him. That's all you heard about coming out of college. And I was a big fan of Baker Mayfield. I'm never one to hide this. Till he came after my team. You come after the New York Giants and the fan base for no reason, I'm going to come after you. And then last year, we remember what he did with the head coach. He goes after him. He makes a big scene of that. He gets rid of Hugh Jackson. Now they bring in Freddie Kitchens. But now he's in the headlines again. Now, to be fair to Baker, he didn't start this. But I'm going to give my thoughts on this. Let's read over the quotes from Rex Ryan, okay? Let's read over the quotes from Rex Ryan. This is what he said pertaining to Baker Mayfield when he was on ESPN. I don't get it. I'd love to be an offensive coordinator in Cleveland, Ryan said. If I have Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, and there's Baker Mayfield, yeah, I know, he's overrated as hell. When pressed, Ryan said, look, I bought into the hype. I'm like, oh yeah. Not to the point where everyone's saying he's going to be the league MVP, though. He then later went on to say, what's he doing right? Here's a guy right now that's a one-read guy, and then he's going to improvise. He's got to realize that you are one of the slowest guys on the field when you take off with it. The other thing, the ball's not coming out in rhythm. You're staring down guys, and you're not that accurate down the field. You know what, to be fair, and you know what, Rex Ryan is a very brash guy. We know this, right? I'm a New York Giants fan. We remember him his time with the Jets. With the whole Snoopy Bowl thing, and, he said that the Jets were the kings of New York, and I couldn't stand him as a Giants fan. And he came out this week and, he praised Daniel Jones. He bashed Sam Darnold. This guy, we all know Rex Ryan. There's a reason this guy is on ESPN. He's looking for headlines, right? He's very outspoken, and he's perfect for that job. He really is. But what he said here, I mean, let's be real. None of it's that wrong. I've watched Baker Mayfield play the year. Matter of fact, I've called 2 of his games on live streams. Half of his throws are sailing too high. He doesn't scan the field that well yet. Let's be real here. And yes, I know that he had a great rookie year, right? What did he throw? 29 touchdowns, I think it was. 27 touchdowns, I think, was a rookie record, right? And a lot of people said he should have won Rookie of the Year for that, and he turned around the culture in Cleveland. No doubt about it. I'm not going to take that away from him. He had a great year. But let's look into those numbers before we look at Baker Mayfield's response. Let's look at what he really did. Yeah, I get the numbers, but let's dissect it, and let's look at his opponents. Last year, Baker Mayfield started 13 games. In those games, he threw 27 touchdowns and 14 interceptions, which was a rookie record. Most touchdowns ever thrown. He did it in less than 16 games. Super impressive. But in 4 of those games, he went up against the trash of the NFL. He played the Bengals twice, of course, in his division. He played the Atlanta Falcons, who were decimated with injuries. Might have been the worst defense in football, and if they weren't, the Bengals were. And then he played the Tampa Bay Bucks. Okay, and we know what the Giants put up 35 or 38 on them. That defense was trash last year. They might have been the 3 worst defenses in football. In those games, Baker Mayfield threw in 4 games for 12 touchdowns and no interceptions. You know what he did for the rest of the year against everybody else? 15 touchdowns, 14 picks. Okay? So you beat up on trash bags. That's what you did. So let's not get overhyped about Baker Mayfield and call him the second coming of Jesus Christ. I mean, really, seriously. This guy still has a lot to prove, because this year, Baker, you got 3 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, and all you and your fans and your team did all offseason was run your mouth. That's all you did. Well, you got a lot to prove, Baker Mayfield. So let's go over what Baker Mayfield said in response to Rex Ryan. Baker Mayfield fired back today at former NFL coach and current ESPN analyst Rex Ryan for calling him overrated as hell earlier in the week. Baker said, "It's whatever," the Cleveland Browns quarterback said, in the wise words of Freddie Kitchens. And we all know Freddie Kitchens isn't very wise. Okay, look at the team you guys have assembled over there, a bunch of hooligans. If you don't wear orange or brown, you don't matter. And Rex Ryan doesn't have any colors right now for a reason. So it's okay. Okay. Let's read your second quote. This is now pertaining to, the media bashing Baker Mayfield. It's something you really have to be conscious of because you're surrounded in an environment where you hear a lot of things. Stuff pops up on your phone or stuff is on the TV, Mayfield said. People talk. You have to make a conscious decision to protect your locker room and to take care of your guys and block out the negative stuff. And when they pat you on the back, it's even worse. Now, Baker, I get it, right? You're a sensitive little bitch. So I get that the media bothers you. Do you know how many times Eli Manning got bashed by the media, got bashed by the fans? You know how many words he said? Grow up. You're the quarterback of an NFL franchise. Block out the media. Who gives a shit? Seriously, who cares? This should have no effect on your life whatsoever. You shouldn't even be listening to it, to be honest with you. And if you are, you're a trained professional. You shouldn't be talking about it. But Baker Mayfield, I have serious questions about Mayfield going forward. I really do. Because now his talent's in question. I'm sorry. Look back at what he did last year. Beat up on trash teams. And I have questions about his leadership. And this Cleveland franchise going forward. I called them the paper champions at the beginning of the year because that's what they've been. They bring in Odell Beckham, another loudmouth, just like this clown, Baker Mayfield. Yeah, you're putting up stats. But you guys ain't winning. You guys haven't won. You're 1-2. You're off to a bad start. We'll see if you guys can bounce back. But, Baker, shut your mouth. You sensitive little bitch. I'm sick of hearing about this guy in the media. First, he attacks my team. And how many times do you see Tom Brady attack the media? How many times do you see Eli Manning attack the media? You don't see it. Peyton Manning. You're the quarterback. You're the leader of that franchise. Wake up. Stop being a sensitive little girl. And the next thing I wanted to touch on today was Antonio Brown. Does it ever end, guys, with Antonio Brown? I mean, really, does it ever end? I mean, we heard about Antonio Brown, right? He forced his way up the Steelers. We don't got to go over it again, right? He forced his way off all 32 teams in the NFL. He might as well should have. I mean, the way he acted this offseason. He pretty much did. He had chance after chance after chance after chance. And there's another little bitch. That's what Antonio Brown is. And now this guy, AB, right? Now he comes out. Well, he doesn't even come out. Drew Rosenhaus comes out, his agent. After which, yesterday or the day before, I don't remember, Antonio Brown said he was going to retire from the NFL, right? He announced that via Twitter. Because that's the new thing nowadays. Everybody wants to announce everything on the internet, right? Twitter this, Twitter that. And then now Drew Rosenhaus has come out to ESPN. And he has said that no, Antonio Brown does in fact still plan on playing. Now, this is probably Drew Rosenhaus trying to save his client's job and livelihood in the NFL. But he says, I have had discussions with him a few times a few teams that are very interested in him and want to know about his future and what's going on with the NFL, Rosenhaus said on a podcast today. Hopefully, when that is all resolved, Antonio will be able to continue his Hall of Fame career. It's a very difficult time for him not playing, Rosenhaus said of the 7-time Pro Bowl wide receiver. We expected him to be playing against the Jets on Sunday, so it's tough for someone who loves the game not to be playing right now. And the hope is that we'll cooperate with the NFL in an investigation and get him back with the team to continue this tremendous career he's had. Now, this is all PC stuff, right? Drew Rosenhaus is his agent, and he later goes on to say that he wants to still play in the NFL. Drew Rosenhaus is his agent. He's sticking up for his client. But at the end of the day, I get it. I get why teams would be interested in Antonio Brown. He's a tremendous, tremendous talent. One of the best wide receivers ever played the sport. He is. But this guy is a lunatic. Why would anyone ever want this guy on their football team? And I get it. Risk, reward. But he's cancerous, and somebody's going to give him a chance. Somebody's giving him a chance, but I don't know. I don't know who it's going to be. I really don't. There's going to be a team, though. There's going to be a desperate team out there that's in contention that thinks that he could put them over the top. And we'll see how this plays out. We'll see if he even goes to jail or not. But that was the other major storyline today, that supposedly, according to Antonio Brown's agent, Drew Rosenhaus, who's basically the Scott Boras of the NFL, he is in charge of pretty much every major player in the league, has come out and said that Antonio Brown does, in fact, intend not to retire from the league, and he wants to still keep on playing once his legal problems are resolved. So we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out and which team takes on this numbskull, because that's what he is, but he is very talented, and we've seen plenty of wide receivers over the course of history be, problems off the field and be productive on it. Terrell Owens is one of them, and there's plenty of others. They call that position a diva for a reason. And speaking of divas, that's going to bring me to my next player. Another guy that I can't really stand, that a lot of Giants fans say that we should go out and acquire this guy, right? And he's tremendously talented. I mean, he's probably the best quarterback in football, and that's Jalen Ramsey. And Jalen Ramsey, again, I think like the third straight day, has sat out from practice. He's come out and said that he's demanding a trade. He said he was sick on Monday. Now he's got some back. Where's this guy going to end up? Because it's not going to be with the Jaguars much longer. I'll tell you that right now. I personally, maybe he's hurt, maybe he's not. But he said he was sick, I think, on Monday. It seems to me like this guy's trying to force his way off the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Jaguars right now are 1-2. The team's not going anywhere fast. They're just not. They got a quarterback in there. Minshew's look solid. But where's this team really going? I don't see them competing in the South. The Colts look legit. They got a running game over there. The Texans are strong. I don't see it. And I think Jalen Ramsey is going to get traded off this team sooner than later. And where's he going to end up? I don't know. Should the Giants be interested? Sure. For the right price. Am I giving up a first-round pick for this guy? No. We just cleaned up our entire locker room. I'm not bringing another guy who's going to destroy it for a hefty price tag. Now, he's got 1 year left on his deal. After this year, I think he makes about $13 million. Then you're going to have to extend him. And you're going to have to extend him at a big price. Probably $20 million a year. He's very talented. But he's a diva. And he's a guy I can't stand. But he continues to draw up drama in Jacksonville today as he sat out now for the third straight day. Of course, Marrone came out as head coach, and he defended him. He said the things that he said, that it's normal. His back has gotten tight before, Marrone said. My back's tight. A couple of guys' backs are tight. A couple of guys have hamstring. Everyone's got their stuff. And maybe it's the truth, maybe it's not. But at the end of the day, this guy said he was sick on Monday. His tune seems to be changing day by day. I think he's playing games with the organization. I think he's trying to make it uncomfortable there in Jacksonville. And sooner or later, he's going to find himself off the team. And, that's pretty much all I got to say about that. And, it's just your guess is as good as mine where he's probably going to end up. And then the last thing I want to touch on around the league is Melvin Gordon, obviously the supremely talented running back from the LA Chargers, says that he could soon be ending his holdout. And he better get back sooner than later. This team is this close to being 0-3. They narrowly won week 1 in overtime. And this team had Super Bowl aspirations. I mean, what'd they go, 12-4 last year? Everybody's hopping on the LA Chargers this year. Everybody says they got this great team, and they do. But they're 1-2. They've lost some games that a lot of people probably didn't think they were going to lose. They lose to the Lions, and they need this guy back as soon as possible. And I'll say this, I think Melvin Gordon proved his wealth. I think he's proven his wealth sitting on the sidelines because they need that weapon in that offense if they want to compete. And Phillip Rivers is not getting any younger, which is why I was surprised that they didn't lock this guy up before all this nonsense started. Because now they put themselves in the hole. They're 1-2. They're 2 games back behind the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think Melvin Gordon's going to get paid. I think he's going to get paid sooner than later. I see it happen. I'd be surprised if they don't sign him to extension soon. Because Gordon, the power's in his court right now. This is a team that's expected to win. They're on a limited time frame. Like I said, Phillip Rivers is a veteran quarterback, and they're a win-now team. They better settle that soon if that Chargers team plans on competing at all this year. But that about wraps it up. I want to do a quick 15, 20-minute podcast, whatever it was, talking about the news and notes from around the league today. And if you guys enjoy it, I'll try to do this, on a daily basis. At least every other day, something like that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. To recap, obviously, Antonio Brown continues his nonsense. Baker Mayfield is the biggest bitch in the NFL. And Melvin Gordon looks like he's coming back sooner than later. Chargers fans should be excited about that. We'll see if he, in fact, does and if he, makes an impact on the football team. And then finally, we touched on the Ramsey situation. There's another guy filled with drama, but very talented. And we'll see if the Jaguars do, in fact, pull the trigger there in trading him at some point this year. But as always, guys, if you like what you heard, please subscribe. Drop a comment. Maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.